Hi, everybody. You're now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
There we go.
Hey, there's Steve.
Goodness.
Hey, Bill.
Happy Friday afternoon.
Yeah, same to you. It just is.
Welcome to the Gretna Bill Show.
Thank you.
Those are quite austere environment behind you.
This is my office, yeah.
Dude, you're all business, man. Look at
That's
that.
right.
Steve, you crushed the Commonwealth, man. I was so proud to know you, man.
Well, thanks.
I think, man, I remember one time I was at Vegas, Las Vegas, and we were at Interbike, and we were had a LUPINE light display. And all of a sudden, this dude with a motorcycle helmet comes walking down through the aisle, like waving, like, "Hey, man!" And I'm like, "Wait, is that for real?" And you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, I was out there. Ed Kroll was out there from Pittsburgh. And,
Right.
That would be out there, and I was riding my motorcycle out to San Diego for a wedding and stopped over in Vegas. And he's like, "Yeah, let's go check out the expo." And yeah, I remember seeing you and you gave me a pair of socks.
Oh, cool. Lupine socks. Do you still have them?
I think I wore them out, but I did have them for a number of years, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I
And I saw Eddie Merckx that day too. So I saw Eddie Merckx and Gretna Bill on the same day. That was a big
dude, that's
thrill.
huge. That's huge. What year was that?
2008.
Wow. Very cool. So tell us about the ride, man.
Yeah, so it's crushed the Commonwealth. It's been going on, from what I understand, since like 2005 or something like that. And it goes from, on odd years, it starts at Point State Park and ends at the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, which is about 380 miles, give or take. And then in even years, it's the opposite, from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. And I did it for the first time 2 years ago, in 2019. Started with Scott Gray. We did about half of it together, and then we split up in Chambersburg. Had a pretty good ride then. And then they canceled it last year, and then I did it again, this year with the goal of, when I did it 2 years ago, I was able to do it in about 25 hours. And so all I could think about after that was, I think it's possible to do it in under 24 hours. So I had that in the back of my mind for the last couple of years. And yeah, it's a pretty cool course. It starts in Pittsburgh. Then you get on the Gap Trail, which is the Great Allegheny Passage outside of Pittsburgh. And you're on that for about 90, 100 miles until you get to a town called Rockwood. And then you get off on the Pennsylvania S route, which is one of the designated bicycle routes that goes through the state east to west. And then that's roads through a lot of different towns. And then you also have a small detour on the Pennsylvania Abandoned Turnpike, which is just outside of Breezewood. It goes from about Breezewood to where the Sidling Hill Service Plaza is. And that's about 8 miles. And it's pretty cool because it has 2 abandoned tunnels.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool. Like lights are definitely handy through that. It's kind of spooky. And then it's all S route again. It goes through Callum's Gap State Park. It goes through Chambersburg, York, Lancaster, through New Holland, and then Morgantown, Elverson, and then some back roads until you get to Phoenixville. And from there, you get on the Schuylkill River Trail, and that takes you into downtown Philadelphia, and you find your way to the Liberty Bell.
Sweet. So when you left, Saturday morning at some time?
No, it starts at the last Friday of last Friday in April at 5 a.m. So it was a 5 a.m. start on Friday, April 30th at Point State Park.
Cool. So what were the weather conditions?
Yeah, so it started out kind of mild. It was like in the 50s, not much wind, but the wind really picked up throughout the day, mostly from the northwest, which was beneficial. It really helped. A lot of times it was kind of a crosswind, and it was really gusty, particularly like at night. So that was a little unnerving sometimes for my skinny butt, but it was knocking me around a little bit. But at the same time, it was helpful. But it was a little bit cold at night too. Probably got down to like the upper 30s with the wind. During the day, in the morning, I had a little bit of hail and a little bit of rain, but generally I had pretty good conditions otherwise.
Nice. So, what was your rig like?
Yeah, so
tires, steering. Yeah.
Yep, yeah, I used my giant TCR road bike, nothing special. And I had 2 bags on it. I had a Roadrunner burrito bag on the front, which I was able to keep some food and things like that in. And then I had a small tail bag, like a Relevate Designs, I think, which is like a medium size. 2 bottles on the bike, and then I had 2 bottles in my pocket. So I had 4 water bottles with me the whole time, so I could try to minimize the stops.
Were all 4 water? Did you have electrolytes or fuel in them?
Yeah, I kept 1 bottle full of Perpetuum, Hammer Perpetuum product. It was pretty thick. I used a lot of scoops in that. It's pretty high calorie. And I brought other packets of that with me, so when I stopped, I could refill a bottle with that. And then I had some Scratch hydration packs that I would put into the bottles as well, make sure I stayed hydrated. And then just water. And then I had I brought all the SIS gels.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I just brought enough solid food to get started until my first stop. And then when I would stop at Sheetz, I would get like Cliff Bars and bananas, apples, Fig Bars, things like that. How
long were your stops?
So I stopped in Somerset. That was about mile 116. That was the first stop. Stopped in Breezewood for some water and an apple. That was probably 50 miles after that. Stopped in Chambersburg. That was at about mile 215. And then stopped at the Sheetz in Lancaster at Centerville and 462. And that was probably around mile 300. And that was it.
Talk about smelling the barn door, huh? Right then. It's like, yeah, dude, Sheetz, Lancaster, I'm home.
Yeah. Well, I stopped at the one in Columbia first, and which is my plan. And I looked in the window, and apparently in Columbia at 10:30 at night, that's where you go to Sheetz. There was like 15 or 20 people in line for one cashier. So I just went down to the next one. I didn't really want to.
Yeah, do you people realize what I'm doing here? Can anybody understand the significance of this stop?
Well, I was kind of running in and out of the Sheetz in Lancaster, and like just trying to fill bottles and like just focus on what I was doing. And I kind of realized after a while, like, I could actually know some people here. Somebody might come up to me. Back in my hometown here, but yeah, I was kind of in and out.
So what was this total mileage was what?
So total mileage was 376, 377, something like that.
And total time, which was a record, correct? That I consider that to be a world record because no one's going to break that for a while. And anybody in the world could have done it.
So the total elapsed time, which is what counts, was like 23 hours and 27 minutes. So just under 23 and a half hours. So
the elapsed time means the time on the bike?
No, that's the time like I started to the time I got to the Liberty Bell. So I think the ride time was just under 22 hours.
So you didn't sleep or really nap or anything?
Oh, no. I kept going. Yeah, I tried to minimize the stops. So like the 4 Sheetz stops, tried to keep those brief. A lot of stops to go to the bathroom, just kind of change clothing as weather comes, like put a jacket on.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just.
So basically you're fully supported, and you had shit to change, flats and chains to brake.
Yeah, that's kind of the ethos of the race is you're completely self-supported. So no outside help. So yeah, I had like 3 or 4 tubes, plenty of CO2s, a pump, like try to have everything reasonable to fix my bike. Fortunately, I didn't have any issues.
Do you have like a 28C tire on there?
In the front, yeah. I put a Continental all season. I could fit a 28 on the front, and then on the back with my frame and rear brake clearance, I just got a 25, which is large that I could get.
Cool. What was your gearing in the back?
It's just the standard. It's probably just like the 1128 or something like that.
What was the total feet of elevation? Did you record that?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Strava. Just over 17,000 feet. Damn
nice. Did you what did I want to ask you about the map itself? Did you download the map into your Garmin?
I did. Yeah.
And so that gave you play-by-play on your screen at all times?
Yep, exactly. You almost could get away without it. I mean, it's nice to have it, especially when you get tired, so you don't have to look for the signs. But the S route is pretty well marked actually throughout the state. Like they usually have a sign before, at, and then after the turn. Not always, but for the most part they do.
How much, I always use a reference point like trainerroad.com says, you can only really absorb 90 to 100 grams of carbs per hour. How did that work for you? About how many grams do you think, not that you might count that, or can you give me a generalization there? A Cliff Bar is only like 30 grams or something, right? Or
yeah, probably like $50 an hour or something like that. I tried to make sure I kept eating like from the beginning, just making sure I was always consuming something, either the Perpetuum or like a bar or a gel, even when I wasn't really hungry.
Yeah. So if you jammed a lot of carbs into your water, that's a variable for sure. You just know you put in some thick scoops and that covers you for, 20, 30 grams right there. You keep drinking.
But I'm not, I don't really know other than just, that's my best guess. I don't have, I don't like have a power meter. I don't have a heart rate monitor. I don't want to count calories or anything like that. So did you have, a mix of protein and fat in there, or was it mostly carbs? I guess mostly carbs. The Perpetual mix, I think, has a blend similar to what you're talking about. And then, whatever's in a Cliff Bar and a Fig Bar. And then I try to eat as much fruit as I could whenever I had a chance. I'd grab an apple or two or a couple of bananas.
It's very cool. So what's your diet like usually?
So I'm vegan. So I eat, plant-based whole foods diet, which has worked out. I've been on that for about 5 years now. And for me, it's worked out really well. Like I feel great and it works out good athletic wise. I think it's generally anti-inflammatory, which is helpful. It's good for my recovery.
So
like
about how much of that, of the 100% is as protein? Do you focus on that? Obviously you do as a vegan, you got to be careful with that, right? So how do you get your protein mostly?
Yeah, a lot of, generally if you eat enough food and the right types of food, the protein kind of follows. But I do have, I'll put like hemp seeds or protein powder in a smoothie that I'll have usually every day. Try to eat a lot of beans and lentils, things that have natural protein in them. As far as I know, never
that's awesome. So going into this, well, I know obviously since 2019, you thought, shit, I can break my record. I can do this in under 24 hours.
Yeah. And
so then you had to probably focus in on that for the next 2 years in the back of your mind. So on a general week, what does your training look like? And if you could break that up, man, I'm always interested, like gravel, road, mountain. Or just keep hours, right? Or how's that go?
Yeah, so like my weeks, I don't really have a lot of time to ride during the week typically with work and family. So if I'm lucky, I'll get out 2 to 3 times in the morning. Like I'll get up really early, out the door at 5 a.m., ride for an hour and 15 minutes. That's kind of it. And then on the weekends, I'll try to get like longer rides. And so particularly leading up to this event, I would try to get out for, on a Saturday or Sunday, try to do like a 6, 7, 8 hour ride. And I did that all through like May, March and April. And that seemed to work pretty well. I try to get out more longer distances over the winter, but the weather is pretty terrible like in February. So I felt like I was getting a late start, but it ended up working out really well.
So you didn't spend much time on the kicker?
No, I do that in the wintertime. I don't really enjoy it. I'd rather be outside even if it's cold, but I would get on that in the winter maybe once or twice a week.
So you're like, 14, 15 hours a week, pretty much?
Probably less than that. Yeah, probably.
That's pretty incredible.
9 or 10. And then I'll run too once or twice a week, Bill, just to kind of keep that fitness going. It's like a good, efficient way to
do you get technical with it? Do you have like intervals and rest work days? Do you do intervals during your regular ride, or no, you just ride, brother? You're all real, right?
Yeah, mostly so. I mean, like lately I've been able to do a couple of the book club rides out of Hershey, which has been really good. And I'll do like the Sunday Worlds ride, over the winter. So that would be the intensity. And then every once in a while I'll, kind of mess around with a segment on Strava or something like that. That's kind of fun, like a gravel segment.
Yeah.
Try to go up that tower climb, like the 5-mile climb really hard, off the dead end road. That's a good benchmark for me for fitness.
Tuesday night is kind of just moved in as a substitute for Wednesday Worlds.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a good course, good group. So
I actually like it better than Wednesday Worlds.
I do too. I like the course, and there's usually a little bit less people, maybe like 8 or 9 people at the most. So it feels a little bit safer, a little more controlled.
And you guys can keep it at 8 or 9 because it keeps shelling people, and then they come down to my group. My group keeps getting bigger and faster. So thanks for nothing.
Oh, you're welcome. Blame Aaron Barr for that mostly.
How's he doing these days?
Good. Yeah, he's doing okay.
Good. So you had some mega gravel rides too. Like you were with Bill Kerr, Dwayne. You went out with Dwayne and Scott Gray and Aaron, right? You rode with all those heavy hitters, right?
Yeah. In fact, gravel's still my favorite way to ride. Like you sort of mix it up and do a lot of different things, and you get more resistance. So yeah, I love
you got any? Yeah, for sure, dude. We got in a unpaved, and I was wondering if you have aspirations. I know you did Keystone last year and finished well. You got any aspirations for some long gravel rides coming up?
Well, yeah. So I did unpaved last year. I got in this year. Tomorrow I'm doing the Parker Dam gravel race, which I think is around like 80 miles, and then next weekend is called the Whiskey Rebellion, and I think it's 200K. That's like 120.
Yeah, that's
miles.
a good ride. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I'm also signed up for the Belgian Waffle in Asheville in August.
Whoa, that's so awesome.
That's like 140 miles, I think. So.
Yeah, that's good stuff. How about lighting? Did you, I know you use Lupine lights, and I think we talked about it. You used your Neo that you've had for like how many years, and it's still working, right?
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yep, I used that. Bill Kerr, my good friend Bill, gave me one of the larger batteries to use, and that lasted the whole time. So, like all throughout the night and in the early morning. So
that's remarkable. Did you have it on medium beam, high beam, only on
medium
downhills? I mean, you conserve it medium the whole time.
Yeah, except through the turnpike tunnels, I used the high beam because that's pretty smooth. But other than that, the medium worked just fine.
And you just had that mounted on a bar mount?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff, man. I really enjoyed talking to you. We're really proud of you when you think about it, because it's like, dude, the local boy, we ride with all the people you ride with and train with, and you're vegan, and you went from Pittsburgh to Philly and established a record. That's just awesome. Beat your own record too, I guess, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So kudos. So how about other folks that we might be aware of? How were they close behind you, or did you see anybody else in the ride?
So yeah, started out with like a little bit of a group until we got out of Pittsburgh, and then it sort of was maybe 3 or 4 people for a while, and then after a while it was just me and this guy named Adam Young, who's from Lancaster. I actually met him that morning, and that was his first time doing it. And he stayed with me for about the first 80, 90 miles or so. And then towards the end of the Great Allegheny Passage, we separated a little bit. And he knew what I was intending to do. So he wasn't, he wanted to ride his own race after a while.
He wasn't down. It's like, I don't think I'm going to do 20. I'm going to break 24. So.
Yeah. But no, he was fun to ride. And he actually came in second. I think he was around 28 hours or something like that. Maybe a little.
Oh, that's awesome. So 2 local boys.
Ride.
Yeah, 2 local boys. And then
so Lancaster County first and second, yeah.
Yeah, and then we talked to Jessica Nankman last week, and I think
I saw the video that she and her husband did. They put that on, I think, the Facebook page.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Boy, I really enjoyed talking to you. I sure hope we can get out there and ride together sometime. And I'm going to try to put in some long gravel days. I don't know if I'm up to your level, but I want to put some long gravel days in and start to make them a weekly routine, getting ready for unpaved, even though I'm only doing 90, but still that's a big gulp for me.
Yeah. That's a fun course up there.
Yeah. So you should have like Ted King up there, trying to repeat probably. And you probably will see him at the Waffle too, right?
I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And last year they did it segment based. I think that's their intention. But like Scott Gray was second and Dwayne Clinton was third last year in the segment stuff. It was pretty amazing. So,
shoot, that's such a good group. I mean,
yeah,
we've all raced with you guys. Dwayne's been on the scene forever. And, man, the thing I want to point out here is the age group of these guys, right? If you don't mind, right? I think Dwayne's. Yeah, how old are you, Steve?
I'm 43.
And Dwayne is 57.
He's like 56, 57, which is like amazing. He got third overall at Unpaid.
Think about it. Holy shit. And
his rips, yeah.
And Scott?
Scott, I think, is 45, a couple years older than me. I think Aaron Barr's about the same.
Yeah, so much for, like, you watching the Giro?
No, I haven't been watching it, no.
Well, anyway, there's, of course, just like in the Tour last year and like so many new races, there's all these young talent guys coming up, just destroying stages, age 20, 21, Pogacar's only 21, whatever. And so, yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, and shout out to Bill Kerr, like he's 70 years old and he's just,
I know. We got to talk about Bill Kerr.
Yep.
So, I guess my point is on the local scene, we're not seeing so many distance guys coming up through, so many guys that are so dedicated.
Owen's been putting in a lot of miles. In fact, he was thinking about doing Crush the Commonwealth, but I think his team was invited to nationals or something like that, so he decided against it. He didn't want to wear himself out. But for a while, he was thinking about doing it, which is pretty exciting. Like he probably would have obliterated what I did, the way he's riding. But he's been getting quite a few miles in also.
Good stuff. So we did Luxy and I did the Giro preview special. We have all these reasons to watch the Giro, and then now we're of course betting. We're gambling on riders. So I always joke with Luxy and I said, well, Vegas obviously sets all the odds for, all the pro riders. But I said, I bet you I could set odds locally. I bet you, like at any given race, whether it's an endurance race or a gravel ride, I bet you I could put odds. And I said I'd go to, if Dwayne's in it, Gergely, Scott Gray, Aaron Barr, Aaron Snyder.
Yeah, he's strong. Yeah.
And he just moved down right down the streat here in downtown
Timber. Across the street from Bill Kerr, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So wow, we've got so many great cyclists around. But so one of these days I'm gonna put odds out now that it's legal. So I might be calling you and going, hey, how you feeling? How was your diet this week? You getting plenty of sleep, buddy? I got you at 2-1 to beat Scott Gray.
Anytime I come ahead of Scott, I'm always thrilled because it doesn't happen very often. So he usually gets the better of me. But
I know this. That's why we're poking fun of him, right?
Yeah,
that's what I did on the last show too. I said, well, this year you didn't have Scott Gray holding you back. Oh, that reminds me. Are you allowed to, like, let's say 2 guys? Could you work with somebody and get constant draft? Would that be legal?
Oh, sure, yeah. There's no rules in that regard.
Yeah. I'm predicting that's the only way somebody will beat you is like 3 guys get serious and said, let's do this. Especially when they're going from Philly to Pittsburgh.
That's going to be tough. Yeah, I would like to do that some year and try it. That's going to be a tougher ride generally because generally the winds are not out of the east or out of the west. So that number one. And then it's just more of a slog, I think, to get to Pittsburgh. I mean, there's slightly more elevation gain because Pittsburgh's higher than Philly, but and then you also finish on the gap, which is kind of nice in a way. I guess you don't have to worry about traffic, but that crushed limestone, it's kind of a wheel suck, especially if it's damp. It's kind of like riding peanut butter sometimes. Like that would be a tough way to finish, especially if you're not feeling well. You can do the last 100 miles in Pittsburgh like that, so that'll be interesting to try.
Hey, good chat, man. I really appreciate you taking some time over your lunch break here. And I hope to see you out there soon. And I guess I'll talk to Billy Kerr and it's like, hey, when are you going? Because at least maybe if he's along for the ride, not he's going to crush me too, but at least I can kind of keep somebody in sight. Not that he won't drop me in a second and leave me for dead, but yeah. All right. Good talking, man.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, and special congratulations, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We have such great cycling going on, in Central PA right now. And I just I'm amazed at it. And I got to keep mentioning that. And I know I'm gushing over it, but it's the real deal.
And the races are fun. Like the gravel races are great. Stuff like Crush the Commonwealth is great. So there's a lot of good opportunities.
Are you going to do any Mid-Atlantic Super Series mountain bike races, endurance or anything?
I don't know. I didn't do any last year, but I wouldn't mind trying a couple. I'm okay on a mountain bike. I don't do it enough to be like the more technical courses scare me a little bit, but it's something I'd like to get into more often.
Scare me too, big time. All right, man. Peace out. Thanks for coming on the show. Great.
Yeah, appreciate it.